Yo, how does Alpine start his videos? Oh, it's me. It's Intl back today with a banger for you guys. It's been a minute. You know, I tried to record a video like a lot of times. It was a lot of times. Maybe this one's gonna get finished. I don't know. Today we're checking out something a little bit fun because I've been working on this for a while before Alpine started his whole like building airport video that kind of like reignited the airport Minecraft flame. So today I'm bringing you a new series that I hopefully can finish a little bit. I'd like to because it's been way too long since I've made a video, and I thought today we could tackle this Parkade and another one over here. So I'm a newly graduated civil engineering technologist student. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, but now I can do things cooler. That's where I've been spending my time, just at school, just been grinding school, you know, just been doing all that fun stuff. But yeah, Parkade, wow. Who doesn't love a Parkade? So usually like you have Parkades kind of scattered in between your curb loop. So this is the intake. One of the intakes is over here. So I think I'm gonna just reorganize like the parking layout, because even though the long stripe is probably the best way to get as many cars in here as we can, it's not the most efficient for moving cars throughout the whole thing. There are a few questions, like here I have one intake here, and it has to go under here, so I have to kind of shove the next support pillar over a little bit to make space for the road. So currently it kind of just drives straight into some parking stalls, and that does not seem ideal. So I think we should turn this into like kind of a right through path, and then line up this first kind of Parkade elevator going upwards. And I think it would line up even better just with these support columns in general, to not have it staggered off to the side like this. I think like the best practice to go about making these Parkades is actually to figure out your layout first, and then set up your structural support members. Yeah, I'm gonna sort out a quick little kind of layout for this. I'll be back in a second when I figure out what I want to do here. Bam! That was an awful way to reintroduce you guys to the new layout. So this only took a little bit. I did have to restructure the framing a teensy little bit with the center area to make this new layout fit. But I think this one will flow a lot better. Basically, along here is going to be your double path, 2-lane traffic. The entrance here, exit here. We'll also have a second set of entrances and exits on the arrivals level. I'm not too sure about the logistics of it quite yet, but I think this layout in the orange wool compared to the yellow wool initial layout is a little bit better. Yeah, no, I'm happy with this. This is just the base, like maximum parking layout. So I'm gonna quickly count out how many stalls we have here, tally up how many we have compared to the initial, and then we'll see what we can do about adding in like stairs, elevators, facilities to get to the main airport terminal from this Parkade. Well, the final tally rolled up to, for the new layout here, we have 424 stalls compared to, it was 472 of the old layout. So yeah, we are shaving off around 50 stalls, but I feel like this is maybe a more efficient and safer way to get cars throughout the structure. Plus, I don't know, it just looks a bit better. It looks a bit more aesthetic and a bit less mundane than just 3 long lines of stalls. And when we get cars in here too, it's gonna look great. So now we have to consider a few things for our parkade. Obviously elevator banks, stairwells. I don't think we're gonna do escalators because outdoors and escalators, unless you're in like a super dry region or you have the money like Las Vegas. Well, Las Vegas is dry. But I don't think you typically find outdoor escalators in Southeast Florida region. Yeah, whatever side Miami is on, like the deep south of Florida. Entry and exit lanes with ticket dispensers, which is what we would find along these rows inside and out. Directional signage, so yeah, we'll have a little bit of signs on each level kind of showing, I guess here's the height clearance requirement, which floor you're on, how to get to other floors. So that'll, all the floor transfers will be handled through these two circular car elevators. So this one is the one that'll be going up, and this is the one that'll be going down. Maybe we can even use some EV charging stations, because I don't know if you heard about this mod, but it's called Lakeside Blocks, and it does actually have an EV charging block. And then some other stuff, maybe like reserved zones for the airport staff, but I also do want to delegate some space on the 5th level for some bridges across the main curb into the terminal building. So I'll go and sort out some spots for those. I guess I'll just copy and paste. Well, first, before I do copy and paste, I want to sort out the locations of the elevators and stairwells. So here's the layout I came up with for that. We have at each of these bridges into the main terminal, we're gonna have 2 for this. I think on the other side, the other parkade might only have 1. I'm not too sure yet. I feel like 2 is very expensive on its own, but I decided it might be good to have the bridges right next to kind of where you enter and where the pedestrian walkway would be. Yeah, and then just one step over from the bridges, we now have our stair and our elevator shaft. Yeah, we got 3 elevators, 1, 2, 3. This third one's kind of just like an overflow elevator just to get between floors, because there is just under 3,000 parking spots. That's a lot of people walking through here, so you want to have the elevators to accommodate them. I kind of landed on 3. And then yeah, stair shafts in all 4 corners. And these green things are just like a bit of kind of like a pedestrian sidewalk. So yeah, anyways, the next step I think would be to kind of translate this downwards and then adjust it as needed. Yeah, so I think the next step would be to kind of sort out the main floor, as we do have an entrance and then an exit as well, so we kind of have to build around that and then figure out how we're going to do the 3rd floor entrance and exit. So I'm gonna get started on translating this downwards, and we'll see what to do after that. All right, so I kind of copied over the layout and the column position so we can design in according with the column as well as the entrance. So this one over here will be our 1st floor layout, and this will be our 3rd floor layout. So seeing as there might be a bit of a queue to get in here from the departures, I don't think it'd be that long of a queue, but we should still try to avoid any backlog into this area as much as possible. So we should make this queue a bit longer. So let's just quickly do that. So here's the system I came up with. So I think there'd be, at a single time, there'd probably be more people leaving than coming in. So that's why for the exit queue over here, we have 3 lanes. They'll each have their own machine. And all 3 will kind of converge into, I guess, one road. So it'll be interesting how we're gonna fit that in there. Oh, I just realized it's impossible to get past this point. So I think if we just reverse the direction of this arrow, so just with that quick arrow fix, then we did fix the overall flow of everything. So let's copy this, and then we'll paste it in place. All right, next, I believe we have to do the third level. Okay, so here's the new kind of configuration I came up with. So I think we'll have the entrance kind of sneak in through the side here, and then you'll go through the queue, and then you'll be straight into the straight. So that's good. And the exit, still 3 queue lines, and then you leave straight into over there, coming through there. This should be okay. And this one is the one that brings you down, so you can go this one, you go there. Unless you want to go down, which case you would, oh wait. Okay, now we're blocking this, which is not good. So, we might have to cut this short. So I guess we could make something semi-interesting here. Very atypical to the rest of the Parkade. But it basically go along the lines of something like that almost. Might just be we have to force all of the right traffic to kind of turn around that corner. Which, you know what? Is not the worst. Yeah, you know what? That's not the worst thing ever. Yeah, so here's the finalized layout for this area. We do have some more dead space again, but truthfully, I don't know what to do here besides like maybe add some stripes. But anyways, yeah, let's get this pasted in, and then that'll pretty much be like the whole layout of the Parkade structure itself sorted out. Okay, great. Everything's in now, and we can get started on the structure of the Parkade before we hop over onto the interior. So, because each layer is pretty much the same, like just structure-wise, just columns, girders are all pretty much the same. That makes our life a lot easier when it comes to designing the interior of this. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to copy and paste just the this kind of portion here. If we're only really designing top-down columns, I think girders should run east-west, and then we'll have the beams connecting to the north-south. Behold the completed structure. Yeah. And we're just gonna copy this on every floor. I mean, ideally, the lower you go, the bigger your column gets diameter-wise, because it has to carry more load from above it. Yikes. But we're not gonna do that because we're lazy. And that'd just be a bit of extra work that I don't really fancy doing. So what I do have in place here are, we do have like an interesting kind of girder column, which will kind of separate the load into these two and bring it down. We do have some weird eccentricity stuff going on with this column, but if we don't think about it too much, I think it should be okay. That's just another quirk of Minecraft. You can't ever have anything on odd numbers going into even numbers on center, so we're kind of stuck with that. I do have more, I guess, beams and joists in the middle here, because I think that's where most of the load will be concentrated around these stalls instead of out on the edges where it's just the main road. Here is the completed superstructure. I mean, maybe we should get lighting in here before we put her down. Yeah, you know what? Let's get some lighting in here, and then we will push her down to where we'll stack her over here. So let's get that done. Bam! Lighting is done. But I also did a bit more than lighting. I also threw in the elevator shaft, these chains. That's just so like people don't jump off and kill themselves. They still could, but this will deter them from doing it even more so. We also have our stairwells. Just made it so that you can repeat infinitely upwards, which is what I wanted. And yeah, basically like this is like the structure minus like the stripes and I guess the ramp elevator thing. So all we really need to do is like there's a couple more layer specific stuff I want to get done. Like, let's see, there's these things, a little parking thing at the end. I still want to do that, layer specific, as well as neutral zones or whatever they're called. But before I can get onto that, I just need to make, I think, like 3 copies of this. One for like the average typical layer, one for the bottom layer, and one for the third layer, just because those have the most changes. And then the 5th layer here is actually just gonna have like a dead zone in here. There won't be any parking, and it'll just be like kind of like an area so you can walk into the terminal. So we'll keep this as a base template. We're not gonna modify just in case we need to come back to it. But let's copy it over a bit. So I'm gonna duplicate it. So this one here will be the general layout. This one here will be first floor, and this one here will be a third with that entrance. So I'll just start copying over these layers. Okay, now we got the whole layout in for this layer. We'll do this and that, and I'll cut back to when I'm done all of the layers. All right. Yeah, I know I've been cutting a lot, but yeah, this takes time. So we got each layer in now, all the markings, the parking concrete thing at the end, and I also added these expansion joints which lay underneath the beams ahead. So it was pretty easy to add, but I feel like it adds a bit of flavor to the otherwise plain kind of concrete floor. So the reason I moved it down was so I could easily kind of stack these on top of each other as much as I needed, and it would work out. It would kind of just start stacking these on top of each other, like so. See, that's the nice thing about Axiom, is because I can just drag stuff over and insert it where it needs to go. Do one there, and lastly we'll wrap up with one on the top, and we'll just eradicate all the columns and stuff. So there's our Parkade. I know it's not the most glamorous. We'll add a bit of detail to it in a minute. First, I'm just going to get rid of everything that doesn't need to be up this high, and then we'll start sorting out these traffic loop thingies. All right. Yeah. So I cleaned up the top. We have the shaders thrown on a little bit. And we have the Ghost Money in the chat. He's chilling, he's building his next video. I'll be coming out, probably already out. Or maybe not, I don't know. We'll see who edits their video first. But oh, this is looking good. This is looking very good. Very happy how this turned out. So yeah, all we have to do left are just these. A bridge to get into the second floor or the third floor entrance queue, and then one to leave, and then entrance road, and then just general decorations around here, and getting ready for the second Parkade, which might be a bit bigger on this side. I know, right? Even a bigger Parkade, but it's gonna be asymmetrical, which is good. Asymmetry promotes realism, so it's gonna be a completely new, well, not completely new, but it'll be different design than this. It'll follow the same kind of general concept and idea. But yeah, and especially once we get some cars in here, I'm not too sure how I'm gonna do it yet. For now, I'm gonna quickly sort out the, I guess, car ramps. We only really need to make one and then flip it. So that'll be pretty quick. And then, yeah, I'll pop back in when that's all done. Okay, OBS was not cooperating with me at all for a solid, like, half an hour, 40 minutes at this point. It kept crashing Minecraft, and it was really making me angry. But we got there. We have to use a display capture now, so that's why you see the kind of information in the top corner. The FPS, GPU, all that. So I don't know how to get rid of that. It's been kind of stuck on my screen for a while. So yeah, the ramps all fixed up, or all finished, I guess. There was no fixing needed, so they all work pretty nice. I think it looks pretty good. So I mean, it is just a big piece of concrete, but yeah. And then I also kind of like laid out like a baseline of where all the pasted cars would go. Yeah, it's been a day. Yesterday's recording was 130 gigabytes for 1 hour. I don't know if I'm recording something wrong or I gotta change my settings, but that feels like a lot. So I'm gonna cut it down a little bit this time, record a bit less, just so I can, save space before I get to editing, and then I can delete the stuff. But I don't like to edit till I have all the recording in. I was gonna edit this on Final Cut, but I feel like the file size is too big to transfer to my Mac, so I'll have to record on Premiere. Anyways, next up, I'm gonna sort out these entrance and exit bridges. I'll pop back in once I've finished these bridges, and then we will just do some other housekeeping stuff like this, and then yeah, that's it. Okie dokie. Now we have these ramps, or entrance ramps in place. So we have this one here, which kind of like tapers off and then splits into 2 lanes. This little sign here, it kind of was inspired by this other sign I found in LA. I'll try to put up a picture right now. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. Just there as a little design, like, yep, this is the Parkade you want to go into. And then also over here we have another one, but this is, instead of splitting off into 2 lanes, it merges 3 lanes into 1, and then you have a stop line here. I don't know how much traffic this will cause. I mean, it depends on how many people are leaving at once, but I think it should be relatively okay. And we also have the pedestrian bridges over here. Just a simple little design, kind of complement the parking facade, or parking garage, also while being like distinct enough, I think. Support column, and we have a little pedestrian bridge over here to get into the Parkade from this sidewalk here. And I still have to add a railing for this, but I'll do that once I finish the frame for the underside over here, which will probably be done at some point in the future. And I also added this pedestrian pathway along here with some terrain. So yeah, I think overall it's pretty good. So the next step, I think, I have to fix these. Okay, there, I filled in all the stairwell bottoms, so now you can't fall out of the floor and no clip into the back rooms. That movie's coming out soon. Who's gonna go see it? I'm gonna go see it. I'm excited. Next up, I think I'd like to work on the ticketing machine. I feel like that'd be a good next step. Then we can just make one design and then copy it around as needed. And then ticketing and exit machine. I don't know what the exit machine looks like yet. I'll figure that out. I'll make a little design, I'll paste it in here, and then we can get some cars in. Okay, ready for the grand reveal? Okay, so here's the exit. We have these queue lines, and then you have the ticketing machine where you pull up with your car and then you give it your ticket, and then bam, pay for it, and you're good to go. It's also the same over here for this one. I'm still not too sure what to do with this area. We'll figure that out. And then the entrance is pretty much the same, just going into here you have the queue and then the ticketing at the end. So then you're entering into the Parkade, same with over here. And then you come around the corner and then you're inside. So now we have the ticketing all set up. We can move on to the cars now, which is great. I'm so excited to do the cars. Okay, so we want to decide a capacity for how much cars are going to be inside our Parkade. So I think for this one, because I appreciate the aesthetics of it, we're going to go with 70% is what I want. 70% full. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to quickly steal the wool I have set up. So here we have all of the parking spots visualized in 3 dimensions. Crazy, right? So yeah, okay, so we're going to keep this light blue wool the same as it is, but oh wait, all right, so here's what I have set up here. It looks a bit all over the place, let's just put it like that. So we got this, that, this, and that, but basically all it is just each of these stalls kind of split apart into its different directions. Because the stamp tool only works facing south for some reason, so I have to set all these up facing south initially, and then I'll rotate them all afterwards so it can line up. Now for capacity, let's do a quick so then replace pink wool with 70% pink wool and 30% air. So now we have around 70% capacity here. Okay, great. Now we are ready to start pasting in these cars. So I do have this special little brush made. So we're gonna use we're gonna do blue wool first. Okay, is it because it only translates upwards? Okay, let's just turn down the radius a little bit. I got it. Oh wait, why is it deleting? So yeah, just something like this. I'm gonna finish out all the other ones and then I'll be back in a second. Sweet! So now maybe it's a bit more clear to see kind of the vision. But here's all the cars laid out. And these will all be rotated so they align with the parking stalls. So we'll just go down here. Go to our control point, and then we'll do cut dash white wool, and then paste it in here. So now we have our first set of cars in our first row, and the reason we did the dash A air is so we keep all the existing stuff in place. And you know what? For the first row, I think that looks pretty good. And boom. So now we got all of the cars in place for the Parkade. And then let's throw on some shaders. And wow, this is laggy now. Oh my goodness. Let's here we are, folks. Here's the finished Parkade. And I guess maybe in the future I'll tune up like how many red cars there are and how many blue cars, because typically in real life there'd be more gray, black, white cars. But honestly, I think this looks pretty good. I'm very happy with how this build turned out. I still have some work to do downstairs. Yeah, overall, I mean, the cars really add a lot. And if you're building a Parkade and not having any cars in it, I mean, that's fine. I'm not gonna judge you for that. This guy's doing a terrible parking job. I hope this process actually kind of like helped some people kind of like rack their heads around like maybe the typical Parkade development procedure, because I mean, that's all I kind of really want to do is just show people that, you know, it's building is not too bad if you think about it like smartly. Because I could have came in here and put all these cars in by hand, but you know how long that would have taken? And you know, it probably wouldn't even looked, maybe it would have looked a tiny bit better than it does now. But I'm very content with this. Very, very content. And even though it's a bit of a laggy build, I mean, we're gonna have a couple more of these scattered around the place, and that's not even using any entities. This is 0 entities at all. But yeah, you know what, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it's been a while since I uploaded, but you know what, I think I'm gonna make a few more videos on the airport as we're developing it, and hopefully you learn something new. Anyways, this has been Intl, and I am so happy to be back.